Canadian rock and roller Bryan Adams has been entertaining crowds for nearly 30 years. The Grammy award-winning singer-songwriter has sold more than 65 million albums worldwide. Everything I Do It For You was written for the 1991 film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. It stayed at the top of the charts for a phenomenal 16 consecutive weeks in the UK singles charts, and most people remember not being able to get it out of their heads all summer long. From Merry Men to Old Dogs, Adams' latest movie soundtrack is You've Been a Friend to Me, written for the current Disney release. Multi-talented Adams divides his time between making music and taking photographs. This summer, fellow artists Mick Jagger and Annie Lennox joined other musicians to pose for Adams' Hear the World exhibition, raising money for a hearing loss charity. Fundraising for philanthropic projects through photography and music. A rocker with a conscience. Bryan Adams is our connector of the day.
You've been a friend to me.
It's been 40 years since the summer of '69, and Bryan Adams is still at it on his sixth string. After 3 decades in the music game, he has some impressive figures behind him. But are there more ahead? Bryan Adams joins me here in London. Thank you so much for joining us, Bryan. We saw your new song for the Disney collaboration there. How did you end up working with them?
Well, I've worked with Disney on and off for, I guess, 20 years now. A little less than 20 years. The first thing I did for them was Three Musketeers back in '93, and I've done various films from them since, and this is the most recent one. And this one came about by me hearing that they'd put one of my old songs into this film called Old Dogs. So I called up the music department at Disney and I said, you know, thanks for doing that. And they said, while we got you on the phone, can you write us a song for this? And that's the result of this new song, You've Been a Friend to Me.
Worth a go. Glad it worked out for them. Is it true that you directed the video as well? You're heavily involved, right?
Well, I only did it because I thought it would be good to have something that represented the song rather quickly, and I did it at home. Actually, I shot it in my house.
Unbelievable. We want to get onto these viewer questions. Chris wants to know, where did you really get your first real sixth string?
Well, probably when I was about 10, when my father bought me a guitar.
Okay, and Corey has written in to ask, apart from the advent of the internet, what do you think has been the most interesting change in the music industry since the start of your career back those couple of decades ago?
Well, I'm really glad cassette tapes are gone, that's for sure.
Never liked them.
No.
Do you think it's fundamentally changed the industry, the internet, or do you think things are pretty much the same?
Yeah, I was thinking it's quite interesting that no one's really, none of the songwriters are standing up and complaining about it more, because you know, none of the new songwriters that are coming up are ever going to make the money of the old songwriters. And so I wish there was a coalition of people that would stand up and try and help the young songwriter.
Yeah, there's some concern, isn't there? Because acts like yours do very well at the moment because the record companies can make money out of touring. But what if you're not a touring band? You can't make it anymore, can you?
Well, that's it. It's very, very difficult. And, well, so that's one of the things that's changed the business. The internet has completely changed it. And I think a lot of people think the music is free now.
Yeah. Okay, back to the questions. Sherasu simply asks, how many marriage proposals have you got over the years, and can she add one more? Will you marry her?
Go on. Yeah, go on. Just add it to the list. That's great. Occasionally I've had a proposal. I don't know how serious they are, though.
Okay. And Chris is curious about what you think of the Canadian presence in Afghanistan for some reason. I don't know if you have a view on that.
I wish that everybody would leave Afghanistan. People have been fighting in Afghanistan for 1,000 years. They're going to continue to do it. I think we should let them work it out themselves.
So you're going to be watching closely these Obama announcements tomorrow and seeing what they make of?
Yes, of course I will. Yeah, I mean, I think he's been lumbered with an awful decision to have to try and carry on this war, and I hope he gets out.
If you pull out, doesn't that leave a vacuum where you cause problems, though, in itself?
Like I said, it's been there for 1,000 years. You're not going to change it.
Okay. Laura Matera wants to know, do you enjoy reading, and what books have you read lately? She wants a recommendation of it.
I'm reading a book by Jimmy Carter, actually, about peace right now.
Okay, a good one. What's got you about that one?
I'm a big fan of Jimmy Carter's, and I really like what he has to say. I like his books, and so I've been reading it.
Okay, Ellen has written in, what does retirement look like for you? Do you have any political aspirations? Perhaps Vancouver North, Vancouver City Council?
No way. Retirement doesn't exist in my
vocabulary. I can't imagine
vocabulary.
you retiring.
No. My parents are still very active, and they're in their 80s, and they're still great thinkers, and they do a lot, and so I hope that I'll be able to carry on that tradition.
And also, a few people have written in from Canada, obviously. They're saying, will you be attending the Winter Olympics? You're excited about them. Is that a big deal in your life?
I really hope to be there, yeah. It's a really exciting thing for Vancouver, and really hope to be there.
Okay, in terms of your photography, just take us through your latest developments there, because you've got a really big name there as well, if not as big as music.
Well, I do occasionally do a bit of photography, and it's kind of a sideline thing that keeps me in my creative world, and I shoot for different magazines, and I have my own magazine in Germany called Zoo Magazine, and yeah, just busy with it, fun.
Yeah, and the internet, I guess, has changed that a bit, but do you get involved in that, or do you just do that, you just carry on as you would have done?
Well, I have my own blog on my website, which I do photographs for when I'm on tour, and for example, I'll be in Minneapolis on Friday for my week of shows in America, and every night I'll do a photograph which represents something that happened during the day.
And do you ever find there's any crossover between the two, photography and music? I guess they're both creative skills, but do they cross over in an apparent way to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, photography is intrinsically tied to music, as is fashion. You know, it's all sort of very, very important, and it's a very exciting medium, especially now that it's all digital.
And we played that Robin Hood song there before you. That's such a huge hit, isn't it? You hear it constantly.
Yeah.
Have you ever worked out over your long career what the secret is to one of those timeless pieces of music?
I think a great melody and a very simple lyric. It's a lyric that has a universal and very, very simple message, and that was probably the reason why it was a hit in every country in the world in '91, 2, 3.
Okay, and in terms of what happens after the Disney projects, have you actually got anything in the pipeline, or do you not want to reveal that?
No, I'm happy to reveal anything. I mean, right now, having this song out this weekend, You've Been a Friend to Me, is really exciting, and I've got tour dates coming up in January in Ireland. I've got hopefully being at the Olympics. I've got a lot of shows next year. And that's kind of my connecting of the world.
And you did it brilliantly. Brian Adams, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Bye to everybody.